Before we proceed further in understanding the Ionic code, it is important that we understand Angular UI router. And the reason is that Angular does not use the default Angular router, but it uses a third-party Angular UI router. So go to Google and search for Angular UI router, and you may be led to this GitHub link where this UI router code is. So I click on the GitHub link, and there you see the list of the source files. However, we are not interested in that. We want to know how to use it, so we'll click on tutorials. And now you see that I have these three options. And because Angular Ionic 1 is on AngularJS, I click on that, and now I have the tutorial, a very simple tutorial on this. So what I've done is, because I want the code to be readable, what I've done is I have taken this code and I put it in my code here. So I have named the files here. You would see that I have three JS files. The first one is AngularJS, which is the regular Angular file which we have been using. And then there is a Angular UI router. There's a complete copy from the source file that you have seen on the web page. And then I have formatted it a little bit because on that page, it is not easily readable. You see, he's writing the style in single line. So I just made a change for that, and I put it in multiple lines so that it is easy for you to understand that it is a class. It's just an active class named active class. Okay, and then we have a very simple app here. It is named Hello World. So there is definitely an Hello World app in your JS file. Now, what you may be noticing is, so far everything is fine and you know all this. What you may not know if you don't know Angular UI router is that you do not know this UIS. Normally in an anchor tag you would see an href, hyper reference, but here we see a UIS reference. That means it is UI's state reference. Now if you have this UI state reference and the state name is hello, and there's another state which name is about, and then we have UISRF active. Now if UISRF active, then we will use the active class. So this is another attribute or directive which loads this particular class if this state is active. Okay, that means if a user has clicked on the about, and that means this state is active, like the page is active, right? The page is loaded. Here a state is loaded. So if the state is loaded, this state is active and it will load the active class. So this is the class. Okay. Then we go ahead and look into the JavaScript file. Now because that is Hello World app, so you would need an Hello World app to be defined here. And you see, earlier we never used any module in most of our examples, but here we are using an external module, a module that is external to Angular. So we are writing it as UI router. That's how the Angular UI router can be included. Then we look into this a simple configuration of the my app. In this configuration, we pass a parameter which is a function, and you would see that it is an anonymous function, and it is taking one parameter, that's a state provider. Now this is how you configure a state, right? If you're thinking what is a state, you can compare state to a page. In a web page, you have several pages, and you move from page 1 to page 2 by clicking on the links. On the page 1, you'll have a link that takes you to page 2, right? So you click on the link and you reach there. Just like the pages, we have states. An app has a state. So you have a state 1 to state 2. So for it to route between the states, we have a state provider which tells the app which state it would be in. Now that needs a parameter. You see this function, here we have the function definition, and look at this, it is an object, and even this is an object. You can see that this is an object which has three properties: name, URL, and template. Okay, so all that we have to do is make the object for each state. So we named it hello state and about state, and then registered that with the state provider's state. So what is this hello state? It is just an object that tells that if the name is hello, the URL is this one, and this is what your template is. So when a user clicks on a particular state, this particular information is loaded, right? And then that is shown in the page. Now, if you refer back to a UI learn.html, the HTML for this, you would see that this is a UI view and it is empty, right? There's nothing written inside it. This is UI view. Now, an anchor like this will just output two links. Then what would be shown after you click on that link? So normally we say, okay, after that you have some text here, right? But here we don't have any text. We just have two links. So let's go to the example and see how it runs. So I'll go here. Here's a live demo. So the page has loaded. I click on hello and hello becomes active. And when hello is active, you have some content coming up here. Now, if you look at the code, there's no content here, right? There's nothing here. So how did that happen? You click on about, you have some about content coming here, and I have nothing here. So how did that happen? To understand that, we need to look at the two states that are defined. The state names are hello and about. So let's look at the JavaScript for this. Now in the JavaScript for this, there are two states, hello state and about state. So if it is a hello state, you have the name as hello, URL as /hello, but here you have the template, right? Remember, it is a template, it is not an HTML file, so you may not have the HTML head, body and all. You just need that context of the HTML that needs to be inserted. So you insert something here and you can probably have even a path to this. So instead of hello world, we can say hello world like this, right? And then I just save it. Then it would show hello world in that context. So there's a Plunker code for it. You can run that Plunker because the code that I have written, I have not loaded my Angular files. So what would happen otherwise is if you click on that, it will say hello world at Cedar. Okay. I would encourage you to go ahead and review this once again. And all that you have to understand, here's the summary of what we have done. We have an HTML which loads a state UI router. So a UI router that works with the states. And then we have a state reference where we have hello and about. And we have an UI view which will insert the template that is shown here based on the state. So if the state is hello state, when the state provider has registered two states here, and if hello state is loaded, let's look at hello world here, the HTML. Okay, if the state name is hello, right? If the state name is hello, we have the hello state for it, and yeah, we have the hello state for it. If the state name is hello, then for that case, a template name this is loaded. One thing that we missed in our discussion is the use of this active. You may notice that active has a red color, right? So that means whichever state is active, that has a particular class active. So either hello becomes red in font color or about becomes red in font color. So right now it is hello is in red color. When I change to about and I click on that, about becomes red color. How did that happen? It happened because I'm using a class which becomes active. If this is active, then we load the class, right? If it is not active, then we are not loading this class. However, these two words are just symbolic. You know, we could have had something like this and use that class here, right? But this is the directive. We have to use the directive exactly as it is. Okay. Based on this, now we'll understand the navigation in Ionic, which we'll do in the next video.